Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I would like to make a video in response to a request by one of the long-term channel holders here on YouTube. And it's a video in regard to tarot on YouTube specifically. And I'm going to call this video Tarot Boundaries because I think it really comes under that main heading, but the fellow channel holder here on YouTube wanted me to talk about some of my thoughts and views about what tarot has become, and especially in regard to YouTube. So I've written quite a number of points here, and I hope most of you will be able to bear with me. So I'm going to get down to some basics to start with. So if you could just bear in mind that I want to talk about defining things just to start with. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about boundaries. I'm going to be talking about how boundaries also get blurred over time as well, because I think this is part of what's been going on as far as perceptions and video making in general regarding YouTube. So I'm going to start by saying something like, this is a tarot deck, and this is YouTube. There is a difference between the two. I think this has been getting blurred over time, and as I start to talk here, you'll see the points and where I'm going with this. So what is tarot? What is a tarot deck? How do you define that? And I know everyone has their own definition of tarot. So do I. I know what tarot is, but it is my definition of tarot. And I'm going to talk about how did tarot itself become undefined, because I think this is all part of the blurring of the boundaries. And I'm also asking the question, is tarot and YouTube a good mix anyway? So what are the pros and the cons of that? So I want to start by talking about, as a viewer, and especially as a newcomer to tarot, what impressions would quite a number of people be getting from YouTube videos? Now, I'm going to talk about what kind of impressions that I think a lot of newcomers to tarot would quite easily get from YouTube these days, especially where there are quite a lot of tarot unboxings and or flip throughs. This is what I think a lot of newcomers to tarot on YouTube, this is the impressions that I think they'd be getting. I think the first thing that they're going to think is, well, tarot is a box of cards that you open on video and you show the cards. With no prior knowledge, that is what they're going to think. With all of the very common and the high number of unboxings and flip-throughs of tarot. So they would also probably be thinking, no knowledge of tarot is required. there's no need to read the little white book that comes with the box, or any book for that matter. So you just read the title on the box and you show the cards. So any newcomer to tarot via YouTube, they're bound to think that's all there is to tarot, really. What about other impressions from YouTube videos? I think the first one that quite a few would probably make is, well, tarot is different designs. They all look a bit different, all the pictures are different, and different designs, and trends or themes. They're also going to quite commonly think there's also no context and no history to tarot either. Of course, it mainly is not presented. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also, if they've been watching these tarot videos for quite a while, they'll be straight away, they'll be thinking, oh, tarot is a social club and or hobby. And you could also not be surprised if they also say, well, tarot is the same as oracle cards, but maybe a bit different. So these are the kinds of impressions that I think are to be expected from most YouTube videos these days. So that's just a start there. And of course, over time, I've been on here 4 years, but I was a viewer of tarot videos for about 10 years before that. So I'm talking about what tarot has become now, over the last 3 or 4 years. Now I want to talk about the blurring of boundaries, because this is all part of it all too. So how did tarot itself become undefined? Now when I say undefined, I mean really hard to define, and quite a wide range of definitions of what tarot is. Now this really started mainly when creators decided to redefine tarot in recent years, especially over the last 10 years at least. Creators decided to redefine tarot. So that has gone on in recent years over time. And where they're being redefined, they're starting to look less like tarot decks. The only ones that look like tarot decks are the traditional tarot decks. And of course, views of consumers and buyers and the video creators themselves influence this as well. So, I mean, this traditional tarot, the way that social attitudes are changing about tarot, I mean, I am wondering if this is going to start to be called the gatekeeper's tarot. Because it's a common response that, oh, you know, too much structure, too much labeling, you know, this is not supposed to be, this is old school tarot. Well, that's the way the social trends are going. And where this is leading to now is that you have quite a number of decks that are barely oracle decks, really. Some of them are barely even look like oracle decks, and they are titled as tarot decks, and they are sold as such, and it's up to individuals whether they see them as tarot decks. And what is happening is where you have the blurring of boundaries and the redefining of tarot, other things are becoming more important now, like minimalism, the cardstock. People think, oh wow, that's really important. Trends, what is trendy, what's going to present in a certain way and sell. Themes, any kind of theme, almost any kind of theme on a tarot deck now. But these are leading to tarot as a fashion accessory. And for people who don't know, even the House of Gucci has got tarot fashion now. So this is all about the redefining of tarot, the blurring of the boundaries. And then this is where YouTube comes into play. Over marketing and the consumer-driven industry of tarot itself is actually promoted by videos and channels, as well as the businesses themselves. And YouTube and YouTube channels are the main influencers of that. So this is changing tarot itself, how it presents, how people view tarot. But there's also social issues involved with all this as well, because we have our own responses. It's all part of society, it's all part of the world. So this is where I come in with an idea. This is just an example of where you could go with tarot, where I think it might be heading. I've come up with the idea of a hypothetical deck that I'm going to call the No Boundary Tarot. And here is a card from the No Boundary Tarot. It's completely blank. Well, it looks like it's blank. And you might think about the cardstock. Is it matte? Is it semi-matte? Is it gloss? What size does it come in? Does it come in a box? What about the colours? This could come in a range of colours, whatever you like. It appears that there's nothing on the card, because this is the No Boundary Tarot. But if you want some structure, you could label this card. You could even draw on it if you like. You could also modify the card if you wish. This could come in all different sizes. I could project whatever meaning or whatever image that I want on any of these cards as a reader. So this is the the No Boundary Tarot. This is an example of the No Boundary Tarot, and this would be available, at any virtual shop near you. Seeing we're all living a virtual life now, or we're supposed to be. So this is my No Boundary Tarot. And it should suit everyone, regardless of their taste and expectations. because you can make it totally your own, whatever you want it to be. So that's my no boundary tarot. That's where I think this blurring of the boundaries with tarot is heading. Now, just to continue a little bit more. So, with the example of my deck, the no boundary tarot, with the blurring of the boundaries, this is really saying now that the latest trend is more important than tarot. Whatever tarot is, because you define that for yourself. One of the latest trends that is about to come on YouTube is called the video shorts, and there's going to be tarot shorts. These are going to be tarot shorts of only 60 seconds length. So anybody who is thinking of what tarot has become and whether it has starting to become insignificant, not as important, here is a very typical example. You know, tarot shorts, I'm calling it tarot shorts, a 60-second video of tarot. It's like tarot takeaway, tarot fast food, which is really junk food. So that is the ultimate blur of tarot on YouTube. Now, just to talk a little bit about tarot reading. So with the blurring that's going on, even readers' requirements now are blurred. Encouraged. The blurring is encouraged. No intuition required. I've seen that on quite a few websites, or just the promotion of the decks themselves, or just tarot reading. This is a trend. No intuition, no meanings. Don't need meanings, don't need intuition. No knowledge. Because you make it up as you go along. That's what the storytelling method is. So you define what tarot is yourself, and or, as a reader, if you're going to read, you make it up as you go along using the storytelling method. So anyone can be a reader, literally anyone. And it's also kind of being promoted that there should be a tarot deck in every home. Or don't use cards at all. You can use a tarot app instead. That's a completely virtual reality idea. It probably won't be long before we're using totally invisible cards. No card stock either. So, these are some of my ideas of what tarot has become, and especially on YouTube, because YouTube is very much continuing and promoting some of these blurred boundaries. But this is also part of the tarot industry itself as well. So this is what tarot has become. It's already become this. And I'm going to conclude by saying, ultimately, the ultimate choice, it's all up to us as individuals. We do make a difference as a viewer, as a consumer, as a purchaser, as a channel holder, video creator. Ultimately, we choose. So only individual choice can set boundaries for tarot or continue to blur boundaries for tarot. So there's some of my thoughts on what tarot has become, especially on YouTube, but as part of the larger tarot industry. These are my thoughts on what tarot has become. And as I was saying, it's up to us as individuals what we want to do now and from here on. So, there's some of my views about this topic. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.